Back in her room, Katie sat on her bed and pulled off her boots. She pulled off her coat, then her snow pants. She dumped them in a heap beside the bed. She climbed into bed, pulled Big Bear to her, and hugged him close. "Guess what, Big Bear," she said to him. "I didn't go out in the dark." She pretended to listen to Big Bear. She pretended he asked her how come. "Because I'm being good," she said. She made Big Bear nod his head. Then she thought he said, "Santa doesn't have a crystal ball, you know." "I know," she said. "But just in case." She snuggled deep into her pillows. Big Bear had a red ribbon around his neck. Katie felt the ribbon, rubbing it back and forth. It was the way she fell asleep. But she still couldn't sleep. She was worried again with her big worry. Everybody said you had to be good or Santa wouldn't come. Even Obie had just said that. And Katie knew she hadn't been good this year. She thought of all the things she'd done that weren't good. She'd been mean to Tiffany. She'd bopped her brothers on the head when they took her toys. She and Obie had planned a sort of Halloween party when Mom was away, even though Mom had said no party this year. Once, Katie had even taken something by mistake, like being a thief, even though she had given it back. And at school, she had had to sit in the timeout chair about a zillion times. What if Santa knew about all those things? What if she didn't get the two things she wanted more than anything else in the world, the trampoline and the tea party set? The tea party set looked just like a tiny castle. When you opened it up, there were all these tea party things inside, including a princess and a dragon to have tea with. Tiffany had won. So did Katie's best friend, Amelia. Katie wanted that and the trampoline more than anything in the world. But she was thinking about something else, too. At school, Tiffany had said a very bad thing. It was so bad that Katie hadn't told anyone else about it. But she wondered all the same. Now she sat up and pushed back the covers. She got ready to go to Obie's room again. She knew he'd be mad, but she had to talk to him about it. "Come on, Big Bear," she said. "Come with me." He asked if they were going outside, but Katie said no. They tiptoed back down the hall to Obie's room. Katie was quiet. Big Bear was very, very quiet. Katie sat down on Obie's bed. He was completely covered up, head and all, keeping the monsters away. "Obie," Katie said. "Wake up." She turned back the covers. Obie didn't wake up. She tickled his nose with Big Bear's ribbon. "Stop it," Obie said. "Hush up," Katie said. "Obie, please wake up. I want to tell you something." Obie sat up. His eyes were still closed. "What now?" he said. "Wake up first," Katie said. "I'm awake," Obie said. "Promise," Katie said. Obie made a little X sign on his pajama top. His eyes were still closed, though. "Obie," Katie said. "Know what Tiffany told me?" "What?" Obie said. "Tiffany said there is no Santa Claus," Katie said. Obie opened his eyes. He frowned. "Tiffany's a dumbhead," he said. "I know," Katie said. "But is she right?" Obie made a face, that frowning face that he made when he was thinking hard. He shrugged. "If there's no Santa," Katie said, "who brings the presents?" "There's a Santa," Obie said. He looked worried, though. "I think we should try and find out," Katie said. "Do you think anything's in the garage?" "From Santa, you mean?" Obie said. Katie shrugged. Or from Mom and Dad? Mom and Dad only give us little presents, Obi said. Santa brings the big stuff. You sure? Katie said. Sure, Obi said. He closed his eyes again. Now can I go back to sleep? He lay down and turned over. He pulled the covers up high around his chin. Then he ducked under and disappeared. Obi, Katie said. What if there is no Santa? Do you still have to be good? Yes, he said. How come? Katie said. Because, Obi said. And then he began doing his sleep breathing. He breathed deep, deep, deep. He made little puffy sounds from his nose. Katie could tell that he was already sound asleep. She sat and listened for another minute. And then she couldn't help telling him her big worry, even though she knew he probably wouldn't hear. But what if you're me? She whispered. What if you're not good?